new Kumul flyover opened.
This flyover is the first of many to come.
Thousands walk the new Million Kina infrastructure. And Capital Rugby Union gears up for the Pacific Games.
This is National EMTV News with Tokana Hasavi.
Hello everybody, thank you for joining me. This is Sunday's news. The official opening of the Kookaburra flyover this morning saw hundreds flock to the scene. It was the only opportunity for the public to take a walk on the four-way lane before pedestrians will be prohibited. EMTV News was there to capture this historic moment for the country.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for residents of Port Moresby to be part of the historic opening of the only flyover in the country. This morning, law enforcement units, Hawkins staff and city authorities did their best to control the influx of people pushing their bid to be part of the 1,000 people dressed in orange to walk on the flyover. Even the small and young were curious to get a glimpse and be part of the crowd. It was quite chaotic at times as people pushed through to be part of the program to see a Million Kina infrastructure built at the gates of our country, the Jacksons International Airport. Many say being part of this historic moment to walk on the flyover will be remembered as long as they live. Jack Lapawe Jr., National EMTV News.
And it was indeed history in the making as Prime Minister Peter O'Neill cut the ribbon to officially open a significant infrastructure in the country. Mr. O'Neill said despite the many criticisms over building such a structure, PNG must embrace this change and move into the future. The Prime Minister then officially renamed the Kookaburra flyover to the Kumul flyover.
Standing tall from Erima to the back of Waigani area, the Kumul flyover is an icon built at the cost of 165 million kina. It was a dream design in NCD's master plan in 2010, but now a reality for the people of Port Moresby and the country. This morning, hundreds stand up to witness the official grand opening of the Kumul flyover. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill said it's an investment to change the face of the city.
We must work together for the future. The future is our children. What sort of society are we going to leave behind for them? This flyover is the first of many to come. There will be many later on, but this is certainly the first one.
Stretching 600 meters, the flyover meets international standards and is the first built by New Zealand contractor Hawkins.
It had to be ready for the Pacific Games, and it had to make a statement about PNG and PNG's standing in the Pacific.
But the building of this significant infrastructure also saw the removal of 51 houses and 14 families relocated in the Erima area.
People request him, you will give him more. At least give more some financial support so that all can come up in life.
The government makes this type of investment. It's not just investing on a city, but it's investing in our people.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill then cut the ribbon to officially open the flyover and be part of the crowd to take a walk on it. Jack Lapawe Jr., National EMTV News.
A typhoid outbreak has been reported in Sigu Valley in the Kagwa-Irave district of Southern Highlands Province. Provincial advisor Martin Pat told EMTV News that the outbreak has killed at least 4 children under the age of 5. The area has also seen an increase in pneumonia and polio cases. Mr. Pat said the National Disaster Office has provided 2 water tanks to avoid the spread of the waterborne disease. You're watching National EMTV News tonight. USA, PNG and other partner defense forces began a humanitarian assistance mission at the Taurama Barracks. I'll bring you that story among others coming up after the break. Stay tuned. Good to have you back with National EMTV News. The 39 PNGDF who received basic disaster emergency training say they have obtained new disaster response emergency skills. They say they are now ready to provide medical assistance to casualties of natural disasters. EMTV's Eric Harupma with this report.
After a week-long disaster emergency training at Tauranga Barracks outside of Port Moresby, 39 PNG soldiers received their certificates at the graduation ceremony today.
You made us feel very welcome, and you taught us a lot. You taught us a lot about what you do here, and that's what this is about. It's about a true exchange.
This training provides an opportunity for PNGDF soldiers who will be assisting in providing medical treatment to casualties during natural disasters and especially those engaged in the Pacific Games. U.S. military officer in charge, Lieutenant Colonel Courtney Feng Bainer said this specialized training forged closer links between PNG and USA. To officially conclude the event, the soldiers conducted a mass casualty exercise early in the morning before they received their certificates. Hands-on training include how to apply bandages to fractured bones, mobilize the fractured spine, and how to treat and approach casualties.
Since me pas talo gold in a camp, me pa no go through the sample courses, but me plan mama straight lo all US all camp line him to planti new plus something where which me pa no line him to lausik, me pa stop round now, but since all camp me pa line him planti something straight.
This course is an exchange of information and ideas between USA and PNG. It provides an opportunity for PNGDF soldiers to take a prioritized approach to medically manage and treat critically injured patients.
So, saving life, immediate stabilize him or mobilize him, or put tourniquet and drag him out from the danger area to evacuate to the nearest hospital. That's
Gifts were exchanged by PNG soldiers presenting balloons whilst they received military coins from their counterparts. Eric Aruma, National EMTV News.
This week, the New Ireland province witnessed the delivery of its old age and disabled pensions by using cutting-edge cloud-based internet technology. This is in line with Governor Sir Julius Chan's vision in seeing his province lead the way. Being the first in the country, New Ireland began using a pilot software program called System 8, sending direct to the provincial government's databases. Community Development's division is responsible for the delivery of the pensions. Sir Julius said they are now working towards an integrated management system which will tie together with all provincial government's data and assist with many of the subsidies and pensions. Now to the Autonomous Bougainville Government's general elections. Incumbent president of the Autonomous Bougainville Government, Chief Dr. John Momis, is currently leading the race in the presidential count. Since day one, Momis already reached the thousands mark.
The Bougainville presidential count began yesterday afternoon at Hujan Counting Center in Buka. At first preference count number 1, incumbent President Chief Dr. John Lawrence Momis led the race with 2,351, former National Parliamentarian Sema Koitai 548, ABG's first Speaker Nick Peniai 137, Sem Kauna 134, Ismail Toroma 133, Justin Pokata Kira 65, Ruben Sierra 61, Peter Nerau 24, and Father Simon Dumarino 17. But after count 4 this morning, Momis increased his votes, maintaining the lead to 7,414. Toroma from 5th position, now trailing behind 1,742, followed by Akoitai and Kauna. Bougainville's acting electoral commissioner George Manu is pleased with the behavior of people during this counting period. The Autonomous Bougainville Government General Election counting continues. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
Morabe's Provincial Executive Council members opened a boys' dormitory at the Karawagi Secondary School in the Chimbu province. The event, though small, showed existing ties between the two provinces. Morabe Governor Kelly Naru and Chimbu Governor Noah Cool, both former students, opened the dormitory.
When the Morabe Governor Kelly Naru arrived at the Karawagi Secondary School yesterday, it showed his close ties with the Chimbu province. The lawyer turned politician attended the school when he was in middle high in the early 60s. His mother is also from the province.
Good to be back at my old school, as well as Honorable Governor for Chimbu. Honorable Noah Kul.
The occasion that brought him back to the school was the opening of a new boys' dormitory built from tuition fee-free funds from the government.
Governing council and the principal and staff, they are taking the lead now. They are setting the new precedents in setting up state-of-the-art dormitories.
The Morbe governor's presence at the opening of the dormitory was accompanied by other members of the Provincial Executive Council, some of whom also attended the school. The event may seem small, but it shows the ties between the two provinces. Governor Nauru and key members of his Provincial Executive Council travelled to Karawagi on the weekend. Bethany Harriman, National MTV News.
You're watching National MTV News. We take a short break now, but ahead in Trukai Sports, Capital Rugby Union Sevens plus more. Stay tuned for that.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. In snooker, Gewa John marked a milestone when she beat Demeter Bray in the 2015 PNG Women's Snooker Grand Final last night here in Port Moresby. In the best of 7 frames, Gewa won all 4 frames before the match was awarded to a 10th title reigning champion. Since its staging in 2003, Gewa has now been unbeaten in a decade after winning her first women's snooker title back in 2006. With the success of 40 women competing in this year's titles, the recently established Women in Snooker Association is embarking on staging more women's tournaments in the country. The Pukpuks and Palais must focus on fitness in the lead up to their biggest gig in the region come July. Both teams played in the local Capital Rugby Union Sevens tournaments yesterday, with match fitness being their biggest area of improvement. MTV's Lorraine Genia was down at the fields for some rugby action.
While the current Pukpuk Sevens squad is said to be one of the best Sevens teams in recent years, the match between the national 15s team proved this squad's lack of fitness. Now, the Pukpuk's 15s team proved to be a lot stronger than the Sevens, which shows signs of concerns for the Pukpuk Sevens, especially in the lead up to the 2015 Pacific Games. Now, we can only hope that the boys will improve in terms of their match fitness. Wesley Valley and Butler Morris showed similar signs of brilliance on the wing, replicating their performance at the Hong Kong Sevens, while Captain Hubert Cheraha was outstanding midfield, making a number of breaks. Meanwhile, the Palais are nearing the end of their week-long training camp in Port Moresby, and Sydney Wesley, who has assumed the role as head coach of the Palais, remains adamant on improving the status of the team in the Pacific.
I think it's been a tough 1 week, I should say. I think the ladies were put under a lot of stress, I should say, but that's what we planned for them. And the finale was this morning with a trial match this morning among themselves, and we pretty much got the final team for the Pacific Games.
The final team for the Games is expected to be named and finalised next week. Lorraine Genia, National MTV Sports.
The Premier Intercity Rugby League competition saw the Lake Snacks Tigers take on the Port Moresby Stop and Shop Vipers this afternoon at the Murray Barracks Oval here in Port Moresby. In an entertaining match, the Vipers' poor season continued as they suffered yet another loss at the claws of the Tigers. The match ended with a 16-14 scoreline in favour of the Tigers. The Vipers have been struggling this season and will need to find their form in coming matches in order to make it to the finals. Well, throughout the week, the All Search Pacific Games relay toured the 9 districts of Morbe Province, stretching from the Gusa Plains through the Huon Gulf and travelling as far as Salamaua and Nawab districts. The Batten's Relays visit showcased some of PNG's rich cultural heritage.
Monday, the baton was down at Gusup and spent the day with the cattle farms and cowboys on horseback as they travelled along the highway and into Lae. By Tuesday, the relay hopped around the Huon Gulf, visiting the Kukukukus at Menyamya, battling the crowds at Bulolo, dropping into a ridgetop school at Munge, and even having time to set foot into Salamaua. The following day saw rain, Plans hurriedly changed with a late start to Finschhafen and a relay with crocodiles. The baton taking the opportunity to visit as many schools around Ley City as possible. Thursday, the baton was treated to a snake encounter and a conch shell band serenade at Nawaib district before crossing the Busu River along with a marching band made of homemade instruments. By Friday, the relay was run around Ley City, visiting Igam Barracks and Boimo Jail, along with business houses and schools. Team PNG athletes also joining in the pouring rain, along with the Boy Scouts and Ley's own mascot, the Snacks Tiger. A final visit was made to Makam Bridge on the way to the airport on Saturday morning for the relay to catch up with the city's para-athletes, and Morabe was done. The All Search Pacific Games relay has now travelled over 26,500 kilometers across 16 provinces of Papua New Guinea, and over 500,000 people have experienced the relay.
Beautiful pictures to wrap up our True Kai Sports segment tonight. Coming up next, the weather details. Stay tuned.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
Taking a look at the weather forecast for tonight's southern region, Port Moresby, cloudy weather with brief showers. Showers expected in Karama, brief showers in Alotau, mostly fine in Poponeta, Daru to look forward to showers plus thunderstorms. In Momase, fine weather expected in Wewak and Vanimore, cloudy weather expected in Madang, showers plus rain in Ley City. In the New Guinea Islands, all centres to look forward to fine weather except Buka, brief showers. And lastly, in the Highlands region, mostly fine expected in Mount Hagen and all the other centres. Well, that's been the news, sports and weather tonight. From the news team, I'm Tokana Hasavi. As always, thanks heaps for your company. You have a safe and enjoyable working week. Good night.